people, it's your girl Ashley Janae. I wanted to give you some quick encouragement because going into this new year, there's so much pressure on us to create and maintain these resolutions and these goals. But with that, sometimes also comes this feeling of inadequacy or disappointment that we didn't necessarily accomplish all of the goals or have the amazing transformation that we thought we were going to have in the year previous, or that the year that we're currently in. And a lot of that sometimes is because we compare ourselves to other people. And the reason why I thought about this was because I was perusing the internet and I saw another one of those posts that make you feel like in order to be successful, in order to become a certain thing or grasp a certain amount of money, you have to look or act or have habits that are very, very specific. And I wanted to encourage you that that's not always the case. And I don't want you to be discouraged by things that seem impossible for you to do at the place that you're in right now. And I want you to pay attention because some of these things are just completely outrageous for the average individual. Prime example. I just looked at a post and it was an advertisement, but it said Elon Musk used to read 2 books a day. And what that does is it makes the assumption that because he read 2 books a day, that garnered the success that he has now. And shout out to Elon Musk. I have no problems with him. I'm actually a fan of how his mind works and the innovations that he's come up with. However, the point is saying you have to read 2 books a day. One, that has to come from a place of privilege, because the average person like me and like most of the people that I'm going to be talking to don't have time or the space to read 2 books a day. I personally am an avid reader. I love to read. However, just with my regular work life schedule, I don't have time to read 2 books a day. I don't have time to read 1 book a week sometimes. So I do use different resources like audio listening apps so I can listen to books. But the average book I read is around 6 hours. Now, I've read a few books that are maybe 2 hours and some that are up to 18 hours long. But to read 2 books a day is completely unrealistic. Not to read it, take it in, and comprehend it. And I'm not saying that this is not a fact or it's not possible. What I'm saying is this is not something that I want you to measure yourself by. Don't measure the hope of your success based on something that's unrealistic. Another one that I see a lot is if you want to be successful, you need to wake up at 5 a.m. What if you have a job like a lot of us where you don't get off work till 7 a.m.? Does that exclude you from the people that are going to become successful because you don't get up at 5 a.m.? It doesn't matter what time you get up. It matters what you do with your time once you get up. There's this idea that we have that if you want to be successful, all you have to do is work hard and be persistent. Well, some of the hardest working people I have ever met in my life maybe don't have cars, and they get up at the crack of dawn, make food for their kids, get some kids to school, get some kids on the bus, get some kids to daycare. They do all these things, then they go to their job, work a job a full day, deal with the mental and physical strain or exhaustion that comes from dealing with the people or doing the physical labor. And then they get off of work, go pick up their kids from the daycare or from the bus, make dinner, tuck their kids in, read bedtime stories, are great parents, and then they go and clean the kitchen and clean the house and pick up behind those kids, and then wake up the next day and do it all over again. Hopefully they have time to take a shower or feed themselves or take a bubble bath or read a book. You understand what I'm saying? So hard work is not the end all be all for success. Yes, hard work comes into it, but working smart, making sacrifices, learning how to say yes to yourself and no to others, managing your time, all of those things play a part. But sometimes we can get discouraged because there are so many people and things that will make it seem like there's this one key. And if you get this one key, then you're going to be successful. And then you'll feel like, man, I don't have the one key. I don't have time to wake up at 5 a.m. or I don't have time to read 2 books a day, or even my reading skills are not up there where they are. Doesn't mean your comprehension skills aren't. So if you could get an audio book and listen to it, you can get the information that you need. If you could go sit at a lecture, maybe. If you just had a friend that would tell you, or a video that you can watch that says, here's some of the tips, here's some of the keys, that could help you. Because hard work is not what's stopping most people. And that is a common misconception. That is rhetoric that is touted so many places, that, oh, they just don't work hard enough, or, oh, they just don't care enough, or, oh, they just don't want it bad enough. And that's just not the case. And so for me, it's a little bit frustrating when I have friends or people that I mentor and I speak to them and they feel like, man, maybe I'm just not working hard enough, and hard work is not the issue at all. So I want you to be encouraged as you make your resolutions and as you sit down to go over the goals that you're going to make for this coming year. We're 2 days away from Kwanzaa and then just a week away from the new year. When you sit down and you make your goals and you're cleaning out your Instagram feed and you're cleaning out your phone book and you're cleaning up things in your life, I want you to make sure that you're not overly paying attention to the people that tell you that they have the key for success, that they have your remedy. Before you go out and buy new programs and join a gym and things like that, and you think this is going to be the one thing that I need, remember, life is a puzzle. It's not one piece. And so there are so many factors, so many variables, so many pieces that you are going to be finding and putting together as you go along on your journey. You don't know where the journey is going to end up. You don't necessarily know where you're going to be. You have an idea. You know what you want, but you don't know exactly where life is going to take you. And guess what? If you would just enjoy the journey, enjoy the places that you're going, enjoy the people that you're meeting, be intentional about putting those pieces together, but you'll be surprised because you'll reach a place that's greater than your wildest dreams. And just when you think you've arrived, you'll realize, oh wow, there's so many more pieces over here that I can get, and there's so many more pieces over here that I can get. Don't worry about what you don't have right now. Don't worry about what you're not able to do in this moment. Do your best. Give your all. Sacrifice where you need to. And don't be ashamed of how you do it in the process. Don't let anybody tell you that just because you don't dress like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg that you're not doing it. That's another one of those things. They always put this rich versus poor, the mentality or how they dress. Guess what? Especially the type of people that I come from, we put sauce on everything. We cannot help it. So no, you don't necessarily have to wear $400 jeans or $600 shoes. But guess what? You might not want to wear the same blue jeans and the same shirt every day. And that is okay. We put sauce on everything. Guess what? Wealthy people, they collect precious metals. So don't let anybody tell you that because you have on a $300 chain or a $3,000 chain made of pure gold that you're wasting your money. It's actually an investment, because gold is worth more than $1 any day of the week. It's worth more than a piece of paper with the president on it any day of the week. I would say be careful of how you spend your money. Be careful of the things that you invest into. I had a friend in college and people used to say he was throwing away his money because all he did was buy J's, but he had a plan in his mind. Now, me personally, I wouldn't do it, but he had a plan in his mind. And today he has a store selling vintage and retro shoes, which people will pay 4 times the amount that he paid for them. It's an investment. So don't let anybody tell you that your journey, your walk has to look like anybody else's. If you have a plan in mind for what you're going to do with the investments that you're making, no matter how ridiculous it looks or may seem, only you know what your plans are for it. And just because you might not have had a plan for it then, doesn't mean you can't flip it later. All the kids that I grew up with that collected baseball cards and basketball cards and football cards might not have known that today those cards are worth so much money. There's so many things that you might have done that you can flip it into something that's amazing. But back then you didn't have all those pieces that you have now. Life is a journey, and enjoy it. Be intentional about it. But don't worry about what the destination or the end will be. Don't worry about that, because you have no idea what that's going to be. You have an idea of what it might look like, but you don't know what it's going to be. So be encouraged as you make your solutions or resolutions and you plan for this upcoming year. Don't be discouraged by what you don't have. Don't be discouraged by what you think you need. Use what you have. It's not a matter of how many resources you have, but it's a matter of how resourceful you are with what you have. Be encouraged. I love you, family. Peace.